Check 1 2. Check on the mic. Hey, buddy. Hey, buds. Hey, buds. Is that an Alberta thing or is that a Canada thing? Hey, buds.
It's not an Alberta thing.
Hey, bud. How's it going, bud?
There is an Alberta accent.
Hey, bud.
But and it's really hard to put your finger on. And the last time I talked about this,
hey, buddy.
The last time I talked about an Alberta accent,
hey, buddy. Yeah.
People were really angry at me. I think I might have even brought you on the locker room to discuss the Alberta accent. I don't know why.
Well, I'll tell you why you brought me on the locker room. You brought me on the locker room just so that you could have a foil and you could blame somebody for making fun of Alberta. Well, that was the whole point of me being on the podcast, which is why you took bullets, because I said something about the way that people talk out there. Sounding like
and it's
this.
Not.
How's it going?
No,
hey,
it's not
everybody.
that. It is
Sure?
not that. It is not that. I'm telling you right now,
sure
there is a Alberta. No,
Canadian
there's
drawl.
no drawl. I can't explain it. I hear when I hear it. You know when I hear it? I hear it in women
When
that
you
were
wake up?
born and bred here and lived just outside of the city limits their whole lives. And it's one woman was so mad at me on the locker room. She called up and
By the way, the locker room's Lachlan's old radio show, just in case, just context. Right.
someone
You're
killed
in
it.
a locker room talking to a lady because that's
Someone
we don't
killed
have
it.
mixed
That
locker
does sound a little awkward. Yes,
does.
thank you for
You're
clarifying that.
welcome. Yeah,
I wasn't in a locker room talking to the ladies.
correct. At a Good Life Fitness, checking under the stalls.
No, but this
hiding in
woman
the
called
sauna.
up. This woman called up to give me shit. She goes, I've been here my whole life. I've lived here my whole life. And I've never heard an Alberta accent. And the funny thing is, she had it in spades. And Grant goes, that's it.
Yeah, dude, this is it. This is the Alberta accent. Like in Toronto, No, let me finish. You can't. You can't just say something and say no. No,
It's
stop
not.
talking.
It's not
Stop
that.
talking. I'm talking. So when you get to a point where you live in Toronto, and I've lived in Toronto for a long ass time, like 22 years.
Yeah,
23 years I've lived in Toronto. I lived in Alberta the previous 25 years. Right?
Yeah.
So I am very familiar with what you're talking about. And the O's out there are oohs. How's it going? No, it is,
No.
dude. You can say no, it is.
No,
How's it going?
no, you're wrong.
It's like this. Oh, we got to go over there.
No,
There's a
no.
laziness.
No.
Yep, you can say
no,
no.
you're
all
doing
you
the
like.
Bob and Doug thing.
Stop.
That's
I'm
not
still
a thing.
talking.
It's not.
This is not. No,
There's
this
this
isn't like
subtle Alberta
This isn't a
accent.
debate. This isn't a
This
debate.
is not-
as
no,
to
but
who
you're
gets
making-
the accent right and who gets the
You
accent
want us to
wrong.
make us sound like we're from Alabama or something.
No,
it's
you
not.
sound like this. You
No,
sound like this.
I don't
You
have an
sound-
Alberta accent.
No, sure you don't.
You
sure
know what?
do. It's just not
I
as
do not.
pronounced as everybody else. So here's what happens in a conversation, generally speaking. Someone brings up a concept, someone else pipes in, and they go,
Yeah, but
"Oh,
when
isn't
you're
that
wrong, Dean, I
isn't
gotta
that
point it
interesting?"
out. Especially
wrong.
when you love to shit all over Alberta.
I was just shitting
it's
on Alberta.
Yeah, you're doing
Talk
that.
like
You
this.
like
How's
that.
it going? How's it going, everybody?
That's
Good to see ya.
not.
That's how they talk. I've been
I'm
there.
telling
my
you,
whole life.
no.
You guys all sound
Telling
like
you
this.
right
And
now,
women-
there is
dude,
an
and women
Alberta
sound worse.
accent. It is not what you think it is. It's not that. It is not that. There's a subtleness to it. And I have a hard time explaining it to people. When I
Because you
hear it, I
can't.
know it immediately. You know who has it?
You.
75% of the golf cart girls. I'm not trying to be a dick.
You tell me. I try to interpret the accent and I go, it sounds like this. And you go, you're putting all of Alberta down. How dare you? And then you say, no, you're wrong. And then the piece de resistance, you're like, you know who talks like that? All those dumb girls in Alberta that work the golf carts.
You're kidding me?
That's harsh.
Are you telling me right now that you think that those girls are dumb?
course not.
They're making bank.
But you said that accent sounds dumb. And you
No, I never did say that.
All right, well then I'm wrong.
I'm
And you're
saying,
right again.
I'm saying there's an accent in Alberta. It's not the it's not
I didn't
that.
do that.
you're doing that. I'm saying it's a subtle, and I hear it when I'm on the golf course.
Because you're fucking hammered.
3/4 of the time when a
You know
golf
what it is?
girl
Because you're
comes up.
hammered and you're listening to yourself and your friends, and you all talk like this. How's it going? That was a great shot into the fucking hole there, bud. Yeah, okay.
No.
Anyway, good to see you.
Are you going to tell your Tim Horton story when we bring Zoey on?
Yeah, I'm going to bring Zoey on right now.
Bring Zoey on because
it's a big day today. Like, let me just tee up the day first.
The eclipse.
We got the eclipse today, the first one in 400 years. That's what I heard today. I also read a story that said
every 2 years.
Well, I also read a story from a guy who's like an eclipse expert. I didn't know they had those. This eclipse expert's like, this is the first time this is happening in 400 years. And then he goes, this is my 19th eclipse. And I'm like, okay. All right. That's first time in 400 years. Yeah, I can get it. I've seen an eclipse with my own eyes. Not a full total eclipse, but I've seen an eclipse in this area of the world. And we're getting it right here. It's a heater in Ontario. By the way, starts around 2 o'clock. That's when things start heating up. And here's the rub. Total overcast here in the city of Toronto. So
is it
we're
bad?
Gonna see,
I thought.
Oh, it's brutal. We're going to see like
I thought a couple of places were clearing up, weren't they?
Yeah, not really. No, we're going to see a shadow where I am. And we're going to see like from Windsor all the way up to like Kingston, just north of Belleville. It's like this perfect band of being able to see the eclipse for something like 3 hours straight. This is it. If you're an eclipseaholic, Ontario, specifically the corridor of Southern Ontario, all the way up through Kingston, Belleville, is sold out. Can't get an Airbnb anywhere, by the way. And Niagara just declared a state of emergency with this eclipse. We're going to talk about the eclipse coming up in a little bit. Also going to talk about a couple of other things with our friend who's back. She is a trucker. She is a musician. She is my friend. And she's also trans. Please welcome Zoey back to the program. Zoey!
I am not a great musician, just so you know.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. How dare you say that?
Is that a Dixon shirt?
Yes, it is actually. It's the Shreddy Collab one. I got it from a Harley dealer, actually.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
It's kind of the
really
trans color, so
you look good. Can I get you just to settle?
Shirts.
No, let's not talk about shirts. I just need you to settle a bet for me. It's not really a bet. We started off with 4 minutes of Lochlin telling me I'm wrong,
Defending
Alberta. People in Alberta
You're like,
don't.
hey, everybody, welcome to Alberta. Yeah. No, we all don't talk like that.
Not all of you, but most.
he's not saying you all talk like that.
No,
but
It's
not a bad. It's not like you're.
It's not Bob and Bob and Doug.
I'm going to get Zoey to be the tiebreaker here.
Canadian,
yeah,
kind of like.
There's
There's
what
a
I'm going
difference.
to do.
Down
There's a
home,
difference.
Next time I go golfing,
accent.
I'm going to go and I'm going to bring the girl on. That's the golf cart girl, and I'm going to get her to speak to you.
Why?
Just working her way through college. That's all she's there for.
Anyway,
go
and you guys will understand what the accent is.
That's dumb.
There is definitely a difference. Like it's
There
like
is,
saying
yeah.
that the East Coast doesn't have one. They definitely have one.
So let me ask you this, Zoey. You travel across the country, across the United States. You're a trucker.
I do. I
What
just got
would
back from
you
Florida.
say? Oh yeah. I bet. Let's leave Florida
Speaking of
alone because that's
accents.
like Florida, Bama. You don't want to.
Somebody ran into me. It was great.
Oh, really? Well, we'll get to that. How would you describe the Alberta accent? Am I closer? Be the tiebreaker. Is my accent of like, how's it going, everybody? Great to see you.
It's
How's
not
she
as
going? And by the way, in Alberta, they refer to everything in the feminine. They refer to their
Yeah.
truck as a she, their how's she going, like time as a she,
No,
her. She's okay.
What is
I will-
wrong with you? You're so.
give Lochlin a little bit of. No, listen.
I will admit there's an
He
Alberta
is-
accent, but it's not that. That's
Yeah.
not what it is. It's not that.
Dean is like kind of
Being a
giving
dick.
it. No, he's giving it more of like an East Coast sound. Like it's
Yes,
not quite as
exactly.
pronounced as that, but there is definitely an Alberta accent.
Yeah, what is
So,
it though? How would you describe
It's hard to put your finger on.
It is. It's very hard to put your finger on. It's like it's like 75% of what Dean's doing. I would say.
No.
Dial it back a little bit. Maybe 65. How about that? Does that make you feel better?
You know what happens when someone gets 75 and the other person gets 25? The 25% person lost, loser, winner.
No,
Dean, right?
you see,
Again.
that's the thing, though. You can't say that because you're just overdoing it a little bit too much.
Totally. That's what we do here. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
We've been known
It's
to
not like I
overdo
missed an
things.
episode or anything.
I've got to figure out somebody listening to this who's been here their whole lives might be able to give me a better idea that has a better handle on language and accents. But somebody explained it to me about what the accent is, and they drag stuff out a little bit. I'll give you that.
How's she going?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a drawl, that's for sure. Yeah,
there is it, but it's you know how the Kardashians hang on to the last syllable of a word?
Don't pay attention, so I can tell you.
Yeah. Anyway,
I have zero interest in those rich assholes.
Well,
even the dad, she can go fuck herself too.
I thought the dad died of cancer like about 20
Not
years
that
ago.
dad.
Didn't he? Oh, okay. The other dad.
The other one.
Oh, Bruce. You don't like
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner? You're not a Caitlyn Jenner fan?
She's a cunt. she makes all of us look bad. Like, that's the problem. Like, I liked her when she first came out. Like, it was nice
Very
to see
Republican.
somebody like that.
Yeah.
But it's like fucking backing Trump. Like, fuck off. Like, he doesn't like you. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Sorry for swearing so much.
No, fuck, go for it. I want to know because, it's weird. Like, you can't, like, guys like us can't go, Caitlyn Jenner's out to fucking lunch, right? Because you'll get your ass kicked online. So when you got a trans trucker on your show who goes, Caitlyn Jenner's a fucking, I'm like, go for it. Have at it. I want to know why a real trans person with a real perspective hates Caitlyn Jenner. Zoey, go.
Because she still has that rich white male kind of, like, don't get me wrong, she's a she, and I agree with, and like she has her like want to be who she is, just like I do. But the entire trans community does not like her because she does not represent us even in the slightest. Like, when there's bills by the people that she votes for trying to erase us, eradicate us from daily life, like, well, like, what the fuck? Like, you're not going to change their minds. They're still going to kill you. You just might be the last person they kill rather than the first one, like the rest of us, sort of deal. So it's like I was saying, when I'm in the southern states, dude, I am a fucking guy when I'm down there. I use the men's bathroom. I don't talk to anybody. I like dress as masculine as humanly possible, and it's like
that's a safety concern, Zoey.
Yeah, just so that I don't get murdered. Like, it's pretty much it. I fucking actually had to pick up a car at Trump Hollywood Tower, Hollywood, Florida. I felt really dirty going in there. So I'm like looking around, like, what the fuck?
Taking a dump.
I don't
One of
have
those
a huge steamer in the Trump toilet and left it there. I wouldn't have flushed it on purpose. I'd be like, that's my gift to you. Well, that's a good point, right? Like, it's not even about the Caitlyn Jenner thing, but and we're going to talk about other things, and I'm glad you started right into it. There's a culture in Canada and the United States, that MAGA culture, that is trying to convince the rest of us, after we have all made very serious progressive steps, right, to accept, love people for who they are. Doesn't matter what they do, where they like to stick it, what they want to cut off, what they want to put on. Doesn't matter to us. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You're human. You know that. I know that. We're friends. We've been friends a long time. They want us to think that you're mentally ill. They want us to think trans people. They do, that it's a mental. That's what.
No,
that's
I'm
what
just saying. No, we're not.
Oh, I know you're not. I know you. And you know what? I know you well enough to know you're not now because you did transition, right?
Yeah, I was just an angry piece of shit beforehand. Like, my depression runs in my family. Unfortunately, that's a different story. But yeah, no, like, dude, if I didn't have to be this, I fucking wouldn't be. No, but no person in their right mind wants anybody to have to do this. It's kind of a last ditch effort, like, kind of deal, to not want to kill myself anymore, kind of deal. But the problem is for the longest time, to get any sort of transitional help was always through, like, CAMH, which is Center for like mental health and things like that. So that's why there's, I think, that whole notion that it's a mental health disorder when it's really not. It's a health issue, as in you need health care to, to help fix it, more or less, or help you get better. It's just like taking a vaccine. It helps you in the long run, sort of thing. So it's to make it's to make basically people have a decent life. Like I said, before. My dad killed himself when I was 7. I was on the same kind of trajectory as him to my kid. He was almost, parentless, or almost lost a parent, probably in around the same age, like 7, 8 years old. So, and now I'm, don't get me wrong, like I still have those thoughts because that's a different thing, but I enjoy doing what I do, and I got lots of toys, so it's fun.
You like
And I'm not
living your
talking
life.
about the sex ones.
Yeah.
Well,
You like living
I,
your life, but that's my point is that, there's a school of thought out there. If you belong to any kind of religious conservative institution, political conservative institution, that they need to re-educate us, that we've been hoodwinked into thinking that trans people are not trapped in the wrong body, right? That they are just unwell. And if you leave them when they're kids, as they're confused and they start getting to a certain point, they'll figure it out, or they can make some kind of decision for them that won't be long lasting. But what I don't understand, and what I would love for you to kind of just quickly explain is when you're a child and did you start having these thoughts as a kid? Like, did you at any point in time go, I'm confused about what it is that I think, and what are those thoughts in someone who's younger?
I would go to bed. I remember I think the earliest age I remember was about 10 years old, wanting to go to bed and like having dreams that I would wake up in a different body, not as a male, like kind of deal. So like it's if I had done that before, then maybe I'd have passing privilege and not be called sir all the time, like kind of thing. So like it's nice to see that the generation now is actually getting that opportunity, but it's hard. So like it's like I kind of don't know where I was going with that now.
No, like when you start having the thoughts as a child, right? Because it's like one thing to transition, because that's the fight that we see in society today, right? Like you see full-grown adults transitioning, being happy. To your point, surgery you go through is major fucking surgery. And when you say, I hope no one has to go through this,
no,
it
God,
includes
no.
that. It includes the ostracization. It includes dressing like a man when you go pick up a car in the Southern United States, where you still can't be authentically you, and authentic us is the freest version of us, right? So when you're a child and you don't feel authentic, you start thinking about that at 10 years old. You don't tell anybody, right? You don't talk to nothing. You just kind of, and was that the manifestation of what brought you into your adult years?
Well, so as time progressed, there was a few things that happened that had kind of pushed me further into the closet. And then, like I had a stepfather that was very masculine. So I just kind of started following what he did and was like, this is how you be a man and move on with your life and have a family and shit like that. And then, when you finally hit a certain point in your life and you're like, okay, now what? And then you're just angry all the time. It took me learning that my dad actually killed himself rather than being an accident for me to actually start going to, to talk to somebody. And this is what happened after that. Like, it was kind of like, because it was like one of those like, well, I've had these thoughts my entire life. And she's like, oh, really? And I started telling her, and she's just like, oh, okay, I understand now. So like, yeah, they helped me realize, what I was. And then I saw other people online doing it, and I was just like, well, I don't have to look terrible. Hopefully I don't look too terrible when I actually transition, because I didn't want to be somebody who looked super manly or whatever. But as time progresses, I just stopped giving a shit. Like I am who I am, and that's not going to change. So, but yeah, if kids have the opportunity to do hormone blockers, it takes so much effort just for kids, anybody under the age, like before puberty, to get some form of puberty blockers, that the odds of them actually changing their mind when they get older are almost nil. Like there's like, I think pretty much every study points out that it's like a 99.9%, the like 99.9% of the kids that started on hormone blockers continue on with their transition later in life, because that's who they are. And you actually have to go through so many hoops that it's not like you can just be like, oh, today I feel like I'm, this gender, or tomorrow I feel like this gender. Like it's not a thing.
Like you don't, like what you're saying is you don't like wake up one morning and go, today I feel like a female, so I'm going to just head down to the clinic and get a new set. Right.
So
That's not what happens.
Is that a misconception then? And
That's a huge
obvious,
one.
it's a stupid question, but I think there's an idea, especially with maybe the further right side of which, for whatever reason, this has become political.
I know,
it's weird to me, but that like teachers are convincing kids to become different genders, that you can just go and get anything you want and change your mind, and that we need to step in and save the kids. Like, I mean, that's the idea that I think that's part of the and I think the uneducated side of the population, even if you're not really heavy right wing, is hearing these things and going, I'm going to move all my 8 kids to Russia so that the teachers in Canada don't turn them to the opposite sex.
That's not happening. That's not happening. Well, them moving to Russia has happened, but it's so
that must amaze you.
Think that like it's. Yeah. I have friends who even like I had one friend. She cuts my hair, and she was saying like, I'm so paranoid that like they're going to keep things about my kid, and I'm like, but Amy, if your kid your kid never has to worry about. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. She's just grabbing her coat, Zoe. Just grabbing her coat.
No, actually, I gotta open this window a bit more. Yeah, no, like, she was paranoid that they were like teachers were going to keep that information from her, and I'm like, but you're the only thing that they want to do is give a child a safe place to talk about who they are if they don't feel safe at home. And that's all that it is. Like, no kid's if a kid's getting beat at home, it's still going to go through the same channels. If a kid feels unsafe at home, it's still going to go through the same channels. It's just giving a kid a place to be who they want to be. That's if they don't feel comfortable doing that at home. And that's all that it is.
Why do you think this has become a political touchstone, Zoe?
One of the biggest, like sexuality. They're taking sexuality, and it's not just the sexuality. Locke, to your point, it's a great question.
Yeah,
why are they? For people that don't want to talk about sexuality, right? The conservative religious political movement doesn't want to talk about sex. Doesn't want to talk about
because
sexuality.
They're all gay. That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing. But I know I'll get there. But for a group of people, they're so deathly afraid of being exposed to it for one reason and one reason only. They think someone might find out they're gay.
They know that their religion is dying. Like, religion is it's a declining business in the world. Like, it's kind of like their last like death grab. Unfortunately, if we let them do that, then we're gonna have rules and things like that in effect for hundreds of years if they're allowed to get into office and things like that. Like, I am with you guys. I do not like the state of our I do not like our current federal leader, but at the same time, like, I'm deathly afraid of the guy that could possibly win or will probably win, because he just because of what he can do, like what he wants to do and what he said he's going to do. Whether he does all those things or not is a different story. But like, you look at what's happened in the States with the Republicans, and it's like what the fuck? I can't.
Think there's this idea, Zoe, that government is going to do one thing in a campaign because they kind of pander to the base. I'm not trying to defend the Conservative Party here in Canada, but it's also happening in the States with Trump. Like, even today, he backed off of his comments about the abortion issue because he knows if he's going to move to the middle and he's going to get some votes, he's going to steal some votes from the middle and from the undecided. He can't go hard on some of these issues. And again, I get the sense, I think we all need to be prepared for a shift in government here in Canada, but I hope like in past elections, that pandering to the base and those those campaign speeches, you know, and the really tight t-shirts that he shouldn't be wearing. That all goes away, and then they go about their business of actually running the country. I'm not suggesting we shouldn't be scared of PP, and there's gonna be some bumpy roads ahead here, but yeah.
You know what it is? I'll tell you something. It's funny because I am not afraid of Pierre Poilievre or any conservative becoming a prime minister of this country. I'm really not. And bear with me. It's because I do not. It's because I'm a straight white male. Okay, so it doesn't bother me.
Your perspective's
I'll tell you why it bothers me. Is because I know for a fact that what Pierre Poilievre has done for political reasons to my friend Zoey's community by portraying them as mentally ill, by suggesting that children should be the wards of their parents de facto, including abusive parents, that no teacher should be allowed to talk. So when I think about who I want to be prime minister, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the marginalized at this point. Because listen, the business of this country will take care of its fucking self. What won't take care of itself is the political institutions. And dude, you can say the same thing for the extreme left, using the sexuality of a group of people and the sexuality of children for political benefit. That is not the group of people that you want running your country, because they'll do it to fucking anybody.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to Zoe. They're doing it to every single trans LGBTQ person in this country. So listen, you in this election cycle, as everybody else has this opportunity to be able to do something really special for people who need it. I don't need it. A white man is going to be the prime minister of this country.
Yeah.
And a white man, as I am, as Lochlin is, a straight white man, has these added advantages from fucking Jump Street because you were born out of the lucky vagina. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. And so
I'm still listening to you guys. My mom just needs help getting her e-brake off on her car.
Well, you go get that e-brake off your mom's car. She needs your help. And that's the problem that I have, is that so many of us, all of us, you, me, everybody else, that's white, that's confused. We're going to get whatever we want because we're already privileged. How many of us are going to make a decision in the best interest of the country come election time? Because I'll tell you what, the politicization of that man's sexuality or any woman's sexuality or anybody else's sexuality for the purposes of vote getting and getting donations is nothing more than hate speech for fucking money. That's all it is.
And I understand what you're saying, Dean, but and again, not that I feel like I need to defend my point. I think a lot of times there is that theater in the campaign, and it's about drawing people in. And then when they're given the task of running the country, then, you know, and there's the day-to-day business, then some of the things that we are worried about Pierre Poilievre doing to destroy the world might not actually happen because it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to do, right? You know, even Justin Trudeau hasn't done everything that he said he was going to do. There's some stuff that slipped through the cracks. And I think that I just don't think that we're going to be. I just don't think that Pierre Poilievre is going to completely turn this entire country upside down and make it chaos and make the lives of people miserable.
No. Do you know how much power the prime minister of this country has? He has more power than the president of the United States. He can do legitimately anything he wants. Justin Trudeau does not. So, as I said, any decision that man makes, and he is not going to make good decisions in the best interest of Zoe.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. Yeah.
He's gonna. It's more of a expect the worst, or like prepare for the worst, hope for the best kind of situation.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like I've stopped arguing with people about it. Like I've got friends who will vote for him and things like that, and I just discovered it's not worth my breath most of the time. But he's not going to come after the majority of people. Like, we are a very small group, and he can definitely make our lives, a lot more painful. Now, that being said, with Doug Ford in office, I expected that to happen when he first got elected, but it didn't.
Mm.
Like, everything's kind of the same from the previous government when it comes to like surgical and things like that. So like you still have to go through the same hoops, but nothing was made more difficult, which was kind of nice. I
Mm.
guess maybe we're at least a small enough group where it makes no difference. He can talk about, like, they can talk about wanting to eliminate us, but at the end of the day, they're just going to be like, we're just going to get kind of swept under the rug. That's kind of where I'm hoping things go. But
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, you're such a small group of people, right? And this
That's
is
why
what I
it's
don't
so
understand.
bizarre that
I know.
and they make it look
a,
like we're huge, and I'm like,
Oh, it makes you look like you're a threat to every
I'm
person's
like,
sexuality in this country.
I don't even care if people practice religion. Like, I hate it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's the shittiest part of
Antichrist?
humanity. Yeah, like, and to be totally honest, if there is a hell, I'd probably rather go there. It seems like a better party, but
Way better. Yeah.
but like,
I have a question, Zoe. So
shoot,
the one thing on top of it being misrepresented a lot of times, that sort of path that somebody that identifies as trans goes through, and that the things that you need to do to actually make that happen in your life is misunderstood by a lot of people, and understandably. I mean, we don't all. I mean, we don't go through that. Like, I haven't got children. My kids didn't have friends that went through it, right? Like,
no.
it's very unique situation. So there's going to be a lack of understanding from the public,
Yeah.
which, and you kind of hope that we just all sort of just learn to get along and stop the judgment piece, but it's going to happen. But
And
I
that's
find
why,
what I find
continue.
interesting, Zoe, is when I moved from small town Yak, BC to Vancouver to go to radio school, I was working at the Pan Pacific Hotel, and it's a beautiful hotel. And in the service industry, and in Vancouver, there is a very large gay population, and and so it was brand new to me. I'm coming from Hicksville in the late '80s, early '90s to
Yak
Vancouver.
is still Hicksville.
It's still Hicksville.
I was there not that long ago.
I know. And so I was surprised. And the one thing I remember, there was a very openly gay man in the room service department. And so
yeah, I think I remember you saying that.
I started asking him questions. And the one time I remember being very confused, because I thought, okay, here's a group that gets marginalized, that's had a lot of difficulties in life because of how everybody views them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in their own community, there was some tension. And he was very upset with somebody in the dining room. And I remember asking him, I'm like, what's your problem with whatever his name was? And he said to me, he goes, because he's such a fucking queen. And I thought it was interesting. He was mad at the guy in the dining room for being overtly gay, right? And singing show tunes in the back. And I thought he was hilarious, but he was angry at him because he was like, he's making us all look bad, right? Like, he would come into work with a tutu on and be crazy, right? Like, so here's my question for you. In the trans community, I mean, you sort of touched on it with Caitlyn Jenner. But generally speaking, it's pretty open arms, right? Or is there a segment? Is there a
trans mafia that makes you look bad?
Yeah.
There's people who I give them the benefit of the doubt where they want to help, but sometimes they do hinder more so. But like, as the trans community is, like, if we have people like Caitlyn. Or there was a Kristen Beck in the States who she was a Marine. She came out publicly, transitioned. And then last I saw, I used to follow her on Facebook, and the last I saw, she detransitioned. But like, as far as the community goes, like, if they ever came back, or when they do come back, because it's inevitable they will, like, we bring them back, let them back in with open arms, because that's the kind of people that it is. We all know how hard it is. Like, to go through that, and people make mistakes. People will question what they do. Like, don't get me wrong, I've questioned things myself, but at the end of the day, I'm still glad of who I am at this point. But yeah, there's always assholes in every group. Doesn't matter who they are. Like I said, I can probably give you some names of people who don't like me in the trans community for whatever reason. Some of them I used to be in a band with, but it's
different reasons. They don't like you for different reasons, not because you're trans. But that's the thing, right? You bring that
it's
up,
like
and
there's,
you see
there's
so
shitty
many
people no matter
that
where
say,
you are.
yeah, you see so many people that say, I'm tired of having that flag rammed down my throat. I'm tired of
Tired of having the fuck Trudeau flag rammed down my throat. So
me too. I'm tired of, generally speaking, human beings, specifically today. Don't know if it's the eclipse or not. Everybody gets sick of everybody, but there are certain groups of people that bastardize certain groups of people by extreme behaviors, right? They take their extreme behaviors and you're like, oh, fuck. You see it with Black Lives Matter. You see it with the
I got a story for that.
the KKK and the white people. You see it with conservatives, MAGA, Maple MAGA. You see it with the liberals. You've got the extreme hippie crunchy losers who want everybody to include everything, or else you have to fucking leave their world. You're not allowed to be like, I mean, there's over inclusiveness. There's people that misrepresent the whole. It happens.
There's annoying vegans.
There's annoying vegans. Yeah. There are people that run up to your table
Speaking
and
of flags, somebody sent this one to me this morning.
I could shit a better prime minister. Trudeau must resign. That is a flag.
I still laugh at those people. They're complaining about the carbon tax, and yet they're driving their big diesel trucks, towing massive trailers, protesting. It's like, fucking go to work.
Let's stay away from the carbon tax discussion. All right.
Did you see all those people in Alberta?
Hour of this podcast making fun of Alberta's accent.
There's the Alberta accent right there. You just nailed it, by the way.
Actually,
Did you hear that, dude? You got to listen back. At 36 minutes of this podcast, you went full Berta. So, and speaking of which, the carbon tax in Alberta, everybody's getting all angry. I'm watching like rallies at the border of Alberta, BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan. People with diesel trucks riding horses in the ditch. And
I saw that.
And they're driving these trucks. They've been protesting for over a week, by the way. And they've been driving these trucks for a week. And they're like, we're not leaving until the carbon tax is up. And the cops are like, no problem. You're just parked at the side of the road in the ditch at a border city. I mean, you can stay here as long as you like. Just don't stop traffic.
At least you're not blocking it.
Well, I know, but I mean, their cars are running and they're complaining the tax is too expensive. But they're running their cars during a week-long protest in the fucking early spring in Western Canada.
There's a lot of hypocrisy revolving around the carbon tax, in my opinion, but we don't need to go there. I do have another question for you, Zoey, with respect to again, this is another thing that I find interesting. For such a small group of society, there seems to be a lot of comedy dedicated to tearing down the trans. Have you actually watched any of like Chappelle or Ricky Gervais? You've watched it? And
I've seen the Chappelle. I saw was it not the last Chappelle, but the one before that, where he talked about his friend who died, his trans friend that died or whatever.
From the waitress that he met in San Francisco. He gave a spot to her on one of his shows, one of his open mics.
I just think it's not even about the fact that they're making jokes or whatever. Like, the thing is comedy's supposed to push forward. They make fun of something and then they push ahead to something else. I feel like him and Gervais just keep rehashing the same fucking jokes over and over again. That's where I see the issue. It's like, okay, make fun of us. Like, I make fun of myself all the fucking time. And like, there's things that I'll call myself and my friends can call me, but like, don't call another trans person. I'm like, you guys could be like, you fucking tranny or something stupid like that. And I know you guys are joking. Like, wouldn't take it seriously. But don't ever say that to somebody, like, unless you know the person and that's cool. But like, yeah, it's not even about it anymore. It's just he keeps rehashing those same jokes.
Yeah,
that's because the people that really like it are the ones that will give them lots of money. It's the right wing fucking idiots who would like buy the people who buy F Trudeau merch. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, why would you waste your money on that crap, no matter who it's from?
I only left.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I actually got an answer
on my
for that
Subaru for a couple of weeks
2
because
months.
I thought it would be funny.
I got an answer for that. Why they do that? Mentally ill. That's why they're unwell. Just unwell. All you have to do.
the last person in the world I want to give money to is a politician. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't understand. Like,
Yeah,
I finally
but
found a use for your guys' old your fuck stickers that I bought like ages ago.
Fuck politics sticker.
Yeah, they're on. It's actually on. You
your
like
bike?
to pick? It's on my bike.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it yesterday on Twitter. I was laughing.
You know, yeah, I do actually think, Zoey, that what we've sort of stumbled into, and it actually kind of answers the questions we've been asking you about. Are you surprised at where we're at with respect to politics and this still being an issue, considering how small your group is and how small the representation is? I think what's happened with politics, and this has been brought up to me as an explanation as to why it is so extreme on both sides, is because the only people that actually do donate money are the ones that feel like they
eat up
need
that bullshit.
Yeah.
Psychos.
So that extreme representation on the left and the right, it's done purposely, because, and the middle is ignored because the middle,
we don't get money.
We'll never give them money. So,
and we're a big fan of live and let live. The middle is like a big fan of, hey, listen, and because this is my theory on trans, LGBTQ, pronouns, the whole fucking shooting match. This is my theory. It's not my life. Why would I care?
Yeah.
I'll enjoy you. You enjoy me. We be friends. You do whatever you want. Cut off this. Put on that. Wear this. Style your hair how you like. Tell me what you want me to call you. Be my friend. Let me trust you. Let's have a good relationship, and let's go forward. And there are so many people out there who have extreme offense to the way that this tiny group of people live. It's like not even 0.04% of the population. Tiny. Actually 0.2. And you're like, not on my watch. Well, guess what? It's not your watch. It's got nothing to do with you, fuckstick.
Those are the same people who will refer to Sean Combs as P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or whatever the fuck he goes by, like this week, with no problem. But they can't call me by my preferred name or use my preferred pronouns. It's like, how is fucking like, or like any rapper who changes their name or anybody who changes their name, like it's just like
50 Cent. It's not his real name. His name's Curtis.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm refusing to call you 50 Cent. It's Curtis from now on because I'm not a fan of pronouns. Exactly. What are your pronouns, by the way? I've never even asked.
She, her. It's the same. Or they, them, or whatever. Like, honestly, if people say he, sir, I'm just like, whatever. I don't.
Whatever. Yeah. You don't get too worked up. And that's the thing. Like, nobody has. Have you ever in your life as a trans person? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just it's all.
No one gets mad at it.
Real.
It's happy holidays or happy March.
Happy March
holiday season.
Have you in your life? Let me ask you this: as a trans woman, a 40-year-old trans woman,
40.
have you? No, I'm 51. Relax, embrace it. You're not going to run Father Time Sister. No, you're not. You're good. You're totally good. Have you ever in your life forced anybody to call you anything other than they've called you if they've just referred to you in an innocuous way? Have you gone, excuse me, it's she, her?
No, like I said,
never.
A lot of the time, the people who do that don't know who I am, and I'm like, I'm probably never gonna see you again, so I don't really give a shit. At the end of the day, like
nobody does. No, it's a made up bullshit thing where it's like you're forcing me to say she, her, they, me, mine, those, this, that, the other, and you're like, no one's doing that. Literally no one. We have someone on the show right now who's trans. It's like, I've never done that. No one does that.
People, there are people who will do that because they get like, it's more of an insecurity thing, I think, for a lot of trans people. But that's the reason why I'm so like easygoing, because I'll be especially in my industry, being a trucker. I'm like one of the first trans people a lot of people in that industry meet, and it's like I'm easygoing, so that like hopefully the next person they meet, they'll be a little bit more understanding, and that like they'll have an easier time, sort of deal. So. It's like, I'm like, whatever.
You're probably doing a lot, Zoey, for the community, right? With respect to giving people an understanding. I mean, even this podcast, I think, would probably go a long way to help. You're just someone. You know
the difference between Zoey and us is
just moving on with their lives.
I get some pretty big titties. That's the only difference.
Got some guns. She got some great guns. And do you miss the wiener at all? Do you miss the penis?
No, I don't. But it still boggles my mind that there was something there I could grab onto, and it's not there anymore.
Right. I know. It's like because I protect it like I protect like a Fabergé egg. Right, that whole area of my body. So
Hold on, I gotta open this door.
yeah, well, take off fucking one of your sweaters, dude. It's just
It's hot as balls in here. Well, I was trying to cover up my fatness. It's fucking.
Nah, you can't see any fatness. You can just see your upper body. It's all good. No, but seriously, it doesn't in I spend a lot of time washing that area of my body. I take great care of that area of my body. And so for someone to make that commitment, I do. It's like
I definitely did. I did it one last time though before it was gone. So.
Oh, did you give it a pull one last time?
Oh yeah. Had to. Come on.
Farewell voyage.
I think I got a picture of me standing up to pee for the last time too. At some point.
Did you really?
That's hilarious. I would things you wouldn't think of, right?
So you never miss it though. You're like, like
not really.
See, that's awesome. And do you
it's
enjoy?
Actually kind of better, to be honest. To be totally honest, like it's
why?
Like,
explain why. Give me the details.
Like I've never actually used it with another person, but
no,
by myself, it's better. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that experience.
Yeah.
Much better. See, that's what I want to get into. He wants to know how it works.
It works the
That's
same.
I
mean,
it's
okay.
like I get it waxed, and the girl who waxes it is just like, I could, if I didn't know who you were, like I wouldn't be able to tell, like kind of thing. So
you get waxed? Do you do the full Brazilian too? You go full
undercarriage,
taint? Oh, do you really?
Right underneath?
Attaboy. I've always been afraid of that. I've always been scared to do it.
Call me a
I know.
boy.
Well, I'm sorry. Atta girl. Some of those things, it happens. See, this is why we're friends. It's like sometimes.
Do you have to get into any odd poses, like downward dog or anything like that?
No, you just kind of sit there with your legs spread apart, and you just kind of look away because it's a little awkward at the time. But
we sent Jimmy down to get a full wax from the
full
show.
Brazilian butthole too, taint.
Oh God,
seriously?
Poor Jimmy.
Yeah. Did he?
It was, if you had like skin that was flexible down there, that probably wouldn't be that great. Like mine's tight, so it comes off pretty easily. It hurts, but it's not terrible. But I could just see it pulling like the bag or something like that, and just fucking rip it or something.
I think you gotta press things down and keep them
hold
taut.
it in place.
You gotta keep them taut before you put
you
them
going?
back.
That's the thing, is I wouldn't miss, because it's so difficult to shave your nuts. Like it's very, very difficult. It's one of those things where you're like, man,
it's a lot of right angles.
Yeah.
It's difficult to shave down there if I have to in between. Like it's fucking like pulling things.
Really?
And,
yeah, that would be the tough thing, right?
Like guys that get down to the starfish with the razor. That surprises me.
I do that too.
Do you really? I couldn't do it. There'd be no way. I'm not taking anything sharp near that part of my body ever.
I was a hairy dude beforehand, so like there's maintenance on this to, like I gotta shave my boobs. Like it happens.
Like, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get
the chest.
So when I first started transitioning, actually the person who does my waxing, she did my back, and now there's no hair back there anymore, which is nice.
Over time, I guess that goes away, right, with the waxing?
Yeah, and she did one strip on my stomach. I'm like, no, I'm just going to shave this for the rest of my life. It's totally fine. It fucking hurts. Holy shit. So yeah, I just shave everything now. So
you know what, though? That's something I never thought of. It's funny because you have these conversations with people like Zoey, and you're like, I never thought about having chest hair after you transition or back hair after you transition. Right?
Facial hair, I have to shave every day against the grain to get it as smooth as possible. And I've had probably 20 laser sessions on my face. I haven't had it in a while because I just haven't had time. But it's facial hair is the one thing that does not go away with hormones. So estrogen's too weak in comparison. Mm-hmm. Like I always joke, like it's to be a trans dude, it's a lot easier to start. Whereas to be a trans woman, like surgery's easier. Like I think my bottom surgery was like a couple hours, and then that was it. I'm done. Whereas like trans dudes to get a wiener built, it's like takes like several surgeries. But like,
are there transplants in that
they'll use
that surgery?
They'll use like they'll use like pumps and stuff like that for getting it up and stuff like that. There's a bunch of different ways of doing it.
No. I mean, like if somebody passes away, can you donate your unit?
Wiener. Yeah.
No.
That's not wieners.
No, unfortunately, because especially like for my surgery, basically everything but what actually makes it hard whatever actually makes it hard is reused. The whole thing is reused. So, yeah, no, like they're men's hormone. Like
We
to be a
lost
dude,
we lost Dean for a minute there.
to be a trans dude,
I
like
was
the
just
hormones.
asking if, like, can
You
you
just
give a woman a
yourself
dead
once
guy's wiener?
with it.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
you
heard,
just stick yourself
guys-
once and you grow facial hair. It's like fucking hell.
Zoe, I've heard that there has been a handful of successful wiener transplants, like guys that had horrific like
Wiener accidents?
accidents, like infections,
Let's
like
look it up.
things went
easier.
really sideways.
It's easier to do it with your own body material. That way, you don't have to run the risk of
That makes sense.
of rejection. So they'll take like skin grafts from the forearm and things like that to help build a penis.
I stand
And like
corrected.
even just them taking hormones, like the clit turns into like a baby dick. Like it looks like a penis.
Okay.
I've seen it before. It looks like one.
You're correct. Surgeons at the Johns Hopkins Hospital performed this is 2018. This is like 6 years ago. The
Yeah, I
first
remember reading about that too.
total penis and scrotum transplant.
Yep.
The patient suffered a devastating injury several years ago from an improvised explosive device while serving in Afghanistan.
Oh, okay,
Would have
that's sad.
Sucked.
There was also
now recovering at the hospital. So I don't know about sex change. It's interesting.
yeah,
I've never heard
wasn't
about it
sure
with
if there was a if there was a procedure from that perspective. I also remember a story, and this could be wrong, but there was a black man who ended up with a some kind of procedure, like a late circumcision went sideways. They had to amputate his penis, and then they put a new one on, but it was a white guy's.
You know, I think I heard that too from your show back.
That's a true story.
years ago.
It's not
I
a
mean,
true
talk about the worst luck. That's you lose it. You're a black guy. You got a nice size one, and then you got to take a white guy's unit.
No, dude, that's such
two.
it's like a racial.
That's two strikes against you. That's the worst luck ever.
Oh my god, that's
That's a true story.
No, it's not a true story.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
At all. Okay, back to the penis transplant. Okay, they don't do them yet with cadavers, just so you know. Lock.
Okay. All right.
So I didn't know either. You're not dumb. I was just as dumb as you. Thought it was a
Yeah.
decent question. Just started to laugh because you said, "Can you transplant a dead guy's wiener?" And that just the word wiener makes me laugh every time. That's it. But yeah, apparently you can't. But you can make realistic ones. Can you make requests? I guess you can, right? When you get a
Yeah,
sex
oh, yeah.
change, you can make all kinds of.
Do you want to like you can choose bait size and stuff like that? From what I understand, I went to Montreal, which is like probably one of the leading sex change places in the world,
For sure.
and there was dudes there. But like for every like 10 women going for surgery, there's like
Mhm.
one dude. Like it's a huge, and a lot of trans dudes don't actually go for it because it's a lot of effort. Like they'll get the top surgery done, they'll take hormones, but they
They'll
just
just
That
hang
was
on
a
to the
question about Caitlyn. Did Caitlyn go through the full
I
procedure?
think
Do
she
we
did,
know?
yeah. From
Yeah,
what I
okay.
understand, she did, yeah.
She
Okay.
really shit talked
But
her
that's
penis
her-
too
that's-
at the end. She's like, "Whatever, it's just a piece of skin." And I'm like, "How dare you? I really appreciate mine."
I like
I'm a
mine
swordsman.
too.
Yeah,
But
I'm a big fan.
that's her. If she wants to, disclose that information, that's up to her. Like
Yeah.
not everybody does. Like it's your own personal choice. Like I don't mind. Like actually, you can see me after surgery on YouTube. Like it's been there forever, and it's pretty graphic.
Mhm.
But you can
What
even
was
see
the
whole
recovery
surgery.
time like, Zoe? Like, were you like?
She was riding her bike in the afternoon.
No, God, no.
Just kidding.
It was like I would say like a few weeks. I think I was back to work within a month, and that was when I was doing patient transfer, so lifting a lot of fat people. But it took probably a year for the swelling to actually fully go down.
Wow.
So yeah, it takes a while. Like, and I heal really easily.
Lucky.
Um,
Can you make requests for? Oh, this is going to be a dumb question too, probably. You can make wiener requests when you get when you transition. Can you make a vaginal request too? Like, do they show you?
no, there's only
picture
so
of
much
them?
they can work with. They do
Okay.
the Oh, I just spit all over.
Getting
No, there's
excited.
only so much they just give you whatever they can do with what you have
All right.
down there.
God, it's
So.
fascinating. Are you going to watch the eclipse today before because you're like in Eclipse Primetime Central, right? You're in what, Cobra?
Yeah, my mom bought the glasses, so probably I might. I was hoping to get on the bike today, but I don't know. It's looking kind of shitty out. So We'll
Get on the
see.
motorcycle. Yeah, dude, watch it today. Oh, I'm gonna watch the eclipse today. And it is apparently 3:00. Again, we're prime time in this area.
It's like 2 something for the
Well,
eclipse in this area.
It starts to like
Depends on where you are, right?
It starts to kind of cross paths. The moon starts to cross paths with the sun around 2. This is everything you need to know, by the way. Let me give you the details. Solar eclipse.
Okay, cool.
90% of the sun in Toronto. Once in a lifetime celestial event begins around 2:04 p.m. and is going to end at 4:30 p.m. EDT. That's Eastern Daylight Time. Locke, you can tell Deb we nailed that one. EDT. We moved off EST. Unfortunately, it looks like it will be cloudy.
Time.
Yeah, it's daylight now. Brian Ozea, a meteorologist from Environment Canada, said there bad news, folks. GTA and Niagara region, which lies in the path of totality. Totality means full coverage of the sun. We're real lucky, but it is going to be overcast. So the moon won't totally cover the sun in Toronto. Partial eclipse means you'll see parts of it. They're telling you not to look at the sun, even if there is cloud cover today. Once in 400 years will you get a chance to see this again. I don't know how,
but it happened in 79 or something like that.
It's happened 19 times apparently in the last 60 years. Yeah,
I remember it being when I was in like grade school in Oshawa or whatever. I remember walking around with welding glasses or whatever, looking at it. So, like,
did you really? You're walking around with welding glasses?
Well, that's what they say to use.
Well, if the sun, I know, but if the sun is covered, right? Why can't you look at it?
Fuck, I don't know.
Anybody know?
Smart.
Right? I was thinking about that today.
Know.
They're like, don't look at the sun. It's going to be covered. I'm like, well, if it's going to be covered, we should be able to look at the sun.
They had optometrists.
I'm just a truck driver. I don't shit.
They had optometrists on, and apparently the damage that it can do if you look directly at it is there's no treatment for it either. Like you can go see your. That's what I learned this week is that if it does mess your eyes up, whatever that is. Yeah, that you might have to deal with it, and sometimes it goes away, and sometimes you can live with it for the rest of your life. Is what I
wonder how many of those. I don't know what that is. How many? Because
probably like looking at a welder or something too.
We've become so stupid over the past 4 or 5 years. Like we've literally become the dumbest people on the planet. Like we're dumber than we've ever.
I don't know if it's been a 4 or 5 year trend.
Okay, the last 100 years, but we really sped it up. We put it on super boosters last 3-4 years, but I wonder how many people after today, and I won't say where, in different parts of North America.
Alberta?
No, North America, I said. Don't do that to me.
We're not getting it. We're not getting it here.
I wonder how many people. And
you know what I love about
let me finish.
Is that all the smart people moved to Ontario for some reason.
I wonder how many people,
according to
and I won't be specific. I wonder how many people in Alberta are going to go blind tonight.
It's not even. We're not even going to Alberta.
Emergency rooms in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and parts of Manitoba are going to be packed with people going like this. What the fuck? I can't see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Speaking of Alberta, before we go, okay, the one last thing I want to bring up before we go, I'm not mad at you. I got nothing but love for Berta. I got nothing but yes, I do. I got nothing but love.
You don't have love. You don't have.
I do, dude. I lived there for the majority of my childhood. University of Calgary alumni, right here.
You just say that after
I went to Sir Sandbox, so whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of the hard driving province of Alberta, little pictures been going around. Viral pictures been going around the internet, the interweb, and this shook me to my core as someone who does not drink anymore, but loved a little vodka in basically anything: pancakes, coffee, beer, a glass, doesn't matter. Just give it to me. This shook me to my core. This is in a liquor store.
I'm so buying that when I come out there.
4
liters, that's a deal, man.
It is a 4-liter milk jug, plastic milk jug.
Hey, we recycle here.
Hey, I'm buying a Brita and I'm running that shit through it. I'm going to tell you how it tastes.
And it is for sale in a liquor store in Alberta. Apparently, they are all over the place. And apparently, Alberta is like the lost land of any kind of alcohol you can get around the world because they believe in free enterprise, which I love about Alberta, but you can't get this anywhere. It is vodka distilled into a milk jug, $49.95 for 4 liters of the stuff.
Here's the thing. When I first saw that,
Wow.
I mean,
tastes
Zoe's
like
going to
shit.
come here. She's coming to Alberta, and she's going to go buy that for comedy.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Right,
gonna
so
buy a
there's-
drink.
Yeah, well, and to drink, but you're not buying it because you have a problem. Here's the thing. I wonder, like, if
Summertime,
you
man. Come
do
on.
buy that, if you do walk up to the counter and put that down,
I'll make it too.
I wonder if you know you have a problem.
Gonna walk up to with two of them.
Yeah,
Like,
two of them.
$100.
I wonder if you're aware of your
That's-
issue.
You know what that is? That's $12 a liter for vodka.
That's a pretty
12
good
bucks.
deal.
Yeah,
That's
it's cheaper than the States.
if you
if
entertain
it's
a lot,
okay
or
vodka. Let me
if
know.
you own like a community center.
Like I said, I'm gonna run
Right.
it through a Brita, and supposedly it
Yeah.
makes it taste like Grey Goose.
Well, here's the funny part. So I tweet that out. I'm like, Berta goes hard. No judgment at all. I never judge, especially that kind of stuff. Berta goes hard. I do a little bit. Berta goes hard. I was inundated in that thread with people going, if you pour that through a Brita, it tastes exactly like Grey Goose or Tito's. Very creamy.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way this is true. Inundated with people going, oh yeah, it's 100%.
It wasn't it
true.
JB's who?
Yeah, it was JB. Sheep King. He's like, yeah, I can confirm. I do this all the time. You take a discount vodka, you pour it through. Did you know that? You pour fucking discount
never heard of
vodka
that.
through. You pour it through
yeah.
a Brita. You get a Brita for like
never
$25
heard
bucks. And apparently it works. Have you tried it, Zoe?
I know. I'm buying this shit just to try it.
I'm telling
So,
you, it's not a bad
If I
deal,
can save
especially if
money
you
and get Grey
entertain
Goose
all
out
the
of it,
time.
sweet.
You get it's called company vodka. That's why I always kept like $1 a can beers at my house, because like when people would come over, I'm like, I'm not going to feed you Spitfire or Heineken. You're going to get Lucky Strike or Laker. That's what you're going to get. Now this is the
Yeah.
same thing. It's true. I could give a fuck about what the guests are drinking. Like you could get 4 liters of vodka and go, hey, listen, we got company. Go get the jug of vodka from the basement and let's pour it in the
Does it
Brita.
not
and let's-
defeat the purpose of you going out and spending money on a separate Brita?
Well,
I guess
the Brita
if
can be
you're
reused.
doing it
keep
multiple
using it.
times.
Hey, me and my mom go through a lot of vodka in the summer, so
Do you really? Oh, dude,
Oh,
you
we-
gotta.
I have my trailer up at the same park she has her houseboat at, so
Mhm.
like, and it's just constant. Not even that, like her. It's like I've got a lot of my friends there too. That there's a lot of heavy drinking. So it's
Well,
like,
that's the vodka for you then. That's the
it's
vodka.
like, oh
You don't
god, I
need to
can't keep
tell
up
him,
with them.
Zoe. You don't need to tell him. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
No, you do.
But
You do.
speaking of drinking in Alberta, I got a bone to pick with Lochlin.
Please. This is
Yeah, so
serious,
I-
by the way, Locke. Like
when I
when
was
Zoe
out
told me
there,
about
I
this
can't
before
remember
we
if
got
this
on.
was-
Serious.
I can't remember if this was last summer or the summer before. I sent you a message. I was out there. I had my own transportation, had my bike with me. I invited Lochlin to go for a beer that I would have paid for, and he turned me down. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
I don't go out very often.
It was
Zoe.
a free beer, and you turned that down. I was like, fuck.
I wonder if I had something going on. I don't remember this.
I think you
will be
did.
on-
I just fucking around with you, but
yeah.
Got some sad music here for
We'll
this.
get together. We'll go for a beer.
I'm going to tell you something. Zoe
as long
sent
as
me a
within-
text
as
last
long as
summer.
as long as it's within scooter distance. If
Yeah,
I
I'll
can
pro-
get there on my scooter, I'll meet you.
well, I have I bring my motorcycle with me, so in the summer, so I've always got
So
kind
you
of
just
some
pack
form
that
of
in the back of the truck.
in the because I haul cars, so I just
Ah,
shove it in with the cars at the front. It's a small, like it's a more of a sport bike, so it doesn't take up a ton of room. I can put it sideways, and
You guys can go two-wheeling together. Like he could
gotta
be
get
on
a
a
real
real
bike.
two-wheeler,
Get rid
and
of
you
that
can be on
scooter
your
shit. Go
scooter.
get a
Imagine that.
motorcycle.
Get your little
Zoe,
pot helmet on. That'd be
there was
amazing.
a moment in time where I thought I was gonna do the bike thing
You
because
should.
I grew up on bikes.
Yeah.
And I went and I rented a bike to take the course.
What did you rent? Is the first question.
I don't remember. It was something that the
Was it
guy
like a
that
cruiser.
it wasn't a big bike. It was a smaller bike, and it was all of it was to get through the course, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 6'4", and unfortunately, I was blessed with this weird gene where no matter what I wear, I look like a tool. So if you put a hat on me like a cowboy hat, you know how guys look cool? Hey, you look cool with a cowboy hat. Yeah, I know, it's my new look. I look like a doofus. And so
Well, full
when
face. Just wear a full face. You'll be fine.
when
Nobody
I-
can see your face. You'll be good.
yeah, but I did not look cool on a bike. And
You know what would look cool though, is if you and Zoe.
some guys pull it off.
Let me finish.
Can't.
You and
You should
Zoe
get
get on.
You should get a Triumph Bonneville. That would look good on you. I think that would be
Zoe
your bike.
gets on her bike. You get on your scooter. You guys meet somewhere in Edmonton.
We get loaded.
Let me finish. I'm having a moment here because it's nice and calm. And you guys can repair the relationship that you broke Lochlin last year when you totally disregarded him.
I'm just
her.
I know Zoe.
I know I fucked up twice. Totally disregarded her.
Don't worry.
She invites you for a beer. She says she's going to pay. And you know what you did? I'm too busy.
Gotta pay.
I'm too busy. Your friend's here.
I don't remember this. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Honestly, I think your kid was up or something like that, so I understood.
Probably not. Probably lied.
I will be honest. If I don't want to do something, I lie my face off. I will make up. I'll make up knee surgery. I'm getting a new hip. I got a meeting with my psychiatrist.
You know what's crazy is that I used to do that with my kids all the time. I'd lie about them being sick when they were kids. It was the greatest excuse. And now they're all out of the house. It's like, fuck, I got to find a whole other pool of excuses where that I'm like, I can't, my kid's sick. I can't, my kid fell down. I can't, my kid's in trouble. I can't. And now it's like, fuck, they're all out of the house. What am I going to do? I got to like go and adopt a kid just to have an excuse.
Blame it on your girlfriend.
Or get a dog.
Speaking of which, there you go. Get a dog.
Yeah, I'm going to get a dog. No, my girlfriend's only, it's a long story, but I can't blame anything on her yet.
He's working up to
the guy who was never going to have another girlfriend again. Like I don't know.
I said I'm going to get married again.
Zoe, do you remember what I said?
It won't last long.
I said, someone will work their way into that dark heart.
It's true. Yeah.
And it happened. And not only that, I called the age too. Yeah. I think I said you'd find somebody quite a few years younger than you.
I didn't find anybody. This person found me. I'm a snack. I'm a middle-aged snack. We've talked about
Must be nice.
Who do you last question I'm going to ask you, Zoe, before what? Being a middle-aged snack?
No, well, just having somebody in general would be great. Fuck, I've been single for 9 years.
Well, where do you date? How do you date?
I gave up years ago.
Did you really? No, we got to
be an app. Get on an app.
They suck. They're terrible.
Are there apps are there areas for trans folks or people like who are you attracted to? There's where you start.
I'm still attracted to women most of the time. Yeah. Like it's like 75, 25%, give or take. But like I try to stick more to dating people within my, the LGBT community. Like I joined a Toronto LGBT women's motorcycle club actually last year.
There you go.
Just to meet new people. They're the ones who do dykes on bikes and things like that at Good Pride.
Again, something that you can say we can't. Yes. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But so you might see me at Toronto Pride.
That's where I think this conversation needs to go. For the uneducated, myself included, is that the trans community does have a sense of humor. And I kind of agree with you. Even when I watched the last Chappelle and the last Ricky Gervais, I was surprised. Not that we need to rehash the previous conversation, but I was like, all right, you might want to let it go. Hey, Dave, like it's time to move on.
Yeah.
One special is fine, but like
13 of them,
13 of them. Yeah.
Like, get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's funny. And again, I think that's an important part of the message, right? Not only dispelling this myth that kids can just wake up one day and go, you know what, mommy, I'm gonna be a girl today, and then go get drugs to start that process.
Let's go to the surgical center. Come on.
I think that's probably
time to go to the 7-Eleven if sex changes, honey. Let's go.
Exactly.
But also, I think having you on today with how affable you are, and you do have a sense of humor, and we can just about have a conversation about anything, Zoe. I think that's an important part of this. And again, we've talked about it, Dean and I, multiple times about that judgment piece. And I think people just got to move on. There's going to be communities you're not going to have any luck with, but I think there is hope that I don't know. I try to have hope. I think there is.
Oh yeah, dude, there's tons of hope because you got people like us that love you. Like, I think the world of you. And it's funny because there are so many different people with so many different aspects to what they think is real, what they think is right, what they think is good for them. And the truth lies in, and I believe this to be true for anybody that has any problem with someone else's sexuality, it has nothing to do with them. The truth is, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
the
much.
truth. You know,
I do
like,
believe.
Go ahead.
We're better off. Like, we are in a better place than we were 20 years ago. Like, coming out when I was 10 was never a thing. Like, it would never be a thing. Whereas now it's, it is bet we are a better society lately without the obvious, people being dicks, but they're slowly going away. So I have hope for actually like my kids' generation. Like, fuck, man, like my kid's gay. He came out a couple of years ago. He's like friends with all the LGBT kids at school and stuff like that. And it's like, and he wants to be a mechanic, which is totally like the opposite. And he's into cars, but
Awesome.
like it's so it's just, and I didn't push him towards that. If anything, I was just like, "Are you sure you're gay? Like, are you sure this is like
This is good. This
it
is a journey."
sucks?" Like, kind of thing. Like, yeah. So it's like nobody would ever
I
want
have some
that,
things to
but
tell you.
it's
Well,
a little hard.
and you know what? In that perspective of you saying, "I don't want this for me," this is
No.
really fucking hard. That's all you need to know is what you've gone through to be your truest version of yourself. And listen, Zoe, I don't care about the color of someone's skin. I don't care about anybody's preference. I don't care about your sexuality. I'd rather people not lead with it. We can have fun conversations about your life, like we can have fun conversations about my life, and in no way are we
Your
leveraging
homophobic life?
Yeah, my homophobic life. Yes, that's right. Yeah, you can talk about that all you like. Because the truth is, it doesn't really fucking matter what other people think of you, me, or Lochlin, right? Like, we are who we are. We take comfort in our groups of friends. We're inclusive. We love each other. We'll take the piss out of each other. I got your gender wrong twice in this conversation. You made fun of me. I'm like, oopsie. Like, it is, this is not the world that some people want you to think that we live in. This is the world we live in. Zoe, it's always awesome to have you here on the show. Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Well, every time you guys ever talk about trans people, I'm just like, why didn't you call me? Like, fucking.
I know.
Like, we never get.
We stay away from it because it's such a shitty topic because you can get into so much trouble with it. And I'm like, listen, if I'm going to have this conversation, I'm going to have it with someone who's been there, that has skin in the game. You know what I mean?
You have my phone number now, so text me anytime. If I'm driving, I can use my phone. Whatever.
All right.
It's not a big
Stay in
deal.
touch. Text me anytime too. Let me know how you're doing.
Well, I don't actually have yours because you called me from an unblocked number, or blocked number.
Well, I'll just text it to you when I'm done here, and then we'll chat.
But yeah, I think I'm coming out your way too. Like tomorrow, I'm heading out to the island, so out to Vancouver. So maybe I'll swing by Edmonton and make you hang out. No, just joking.
Yeah, make you hang out.
Drop me a line, Zoe. Drop me a line.
Yeah, if I'm out there, I'll let you know. But yeah, no, it's good seeing you guys.
Great seeing you.
Take care, Zoe.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Go enjoy the eclipse. Say hi to your mom. She can come back in now. She's allowed back in the house.
I'm just in her front room, so.
Okay. Oh, she's got a front room. That's nice.
It's like her craft room. So.
She's crafty, is she?
Oh yeah, we got a cricket. I make all kinds of fun stickers. Oh, I made your Wahhappen sticker. So.
Did you really?
I tagged you in it, but yeah, I made some more Wahhappen stickers. It's on the back of my. It's on the back of my black Dodge Ram, actually.
Oh, really? All right, I'll check it out.
The only lifted black Dodge Ram with Pride stickers on the back of it in the world. So
that's funny.
I wonder what that truck, how that truck would be received ripping through the prairies.
Yeah, I keep wanting to put them on the side of my transport truck, but I don't know if the company would be cool with that. So
appreciate it. Thanks, Zoe. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem.
All right, care, Zoe, ladies and gentlemen. She's awesome. She's fun. She's normal. That's
do you
normal.
need to
That's what's going on?
Do you need to tell the Tim Horton story? I don't want to lose that.
Not only do I need to tell it, it's more of a memoriam, actually.
Okay.
And this is serious. I had my last Tim Hortons experience yesterday.
Wow.
Very last. Never go again. Never go again. Let me just kind of, and it won't take long. I had not eaten yesterday. I do not go to Tim Hortons because the last 4 or 5 times I've been, It's been, people use words like horrific. It wasn't horrific. It was confusing. And I'll tell you why. Because the same thing happened every time for the last 4 times. And this was the 5th time, probably the 5th time, where I'm like, you're smarter than this, Dean. Stop doing this to yourself.
Apparently not. You went back 5 times.
In like the last 4 years. Just so you know.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not like
All right.
this
All right.
week. It's over the last half decade.
Okay.
Ever since Tim Hortons was taken over by Restaurant Brands International, it's a hedge fund out of Brazil.
Yeah.
It's become shit. Coffees, I guess it's okay. Everything else changes. They never have this stuff. And let me explain to you, never have this stuff. I'll explain what that means. About a year ago, I'm at a drive-thru. Maybe not. It's got to be 3-4 years ago. And I'm getting ready to take my son to a baseball tournament. And I said, I need 2 chicken sandwiches. They go, no problem. Pull up. And they're like, don't have any chicken. I'm like, what do you have? She's got roast beef. I'm like, I'll take 2 roast beef sandwiches. She comes back to the thing. She goes, we don't have any buns. I'm like, what do you have? She's like, we got chili. I'm like, I'll take the chili. She goes, and I'll throw in a donut. And I'm like, great. Didn't want either of those things. Didn't either of those things. Got the thing, paid for it, left. This happened 3 more times at least over the past 4 or 5 years. Hey, okay. I'd like a wrap. We don't have any wraps. Hey, I'd like a bacon BLT. We don't have any bacon. Hey, I'd like a... We don't have any of those. Hey, I'd like a dark roast. We're out of dark roast. We got the regular roast. So I haven't been... This is fucking Ontario Tim Hortons. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's better Tim Hortons out west. Maybe...
Are you going to the same... Are you going to the same one?
No. One's in Pickering, one's in Oshawa, one's in Toronto, one's here in Markham. Right. Like, it is legit. And so I recorded a video yesterday because this legitimately happened. I pull in, I want a loaded habanero chicken wrap.
Which is the one that they're promoting right now. They'll have like a feature thing, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
it just looked like it was like the first thing on the menu. Hockey. It was like 400 calories. It was like $7. I'm like, sure, let's have that. Okay, pull up. I pull up. Pay for it. Can you park there? Because it's going to be a minute until we can bring it out. No problem. So they give me my coffee.
I have a problem with that.
I had a problem with it immediately. And I pull in. 4 to 5 minutes later, gentleman walks out. He goes, I'm sorry. I think this is what he said. I wasn't sure. He's like, I'm sorry. We don't have any chicken. Grilled chicken. I go, or crispy chicken. I go, no problem. Grilled's fine. He's like, okay. Goes back in. 4 or 5 minutes later, he comes out. He goes, we don't have any grilled chicken either. I go, okay. Do you have turkey? He goes, yep. I'll have a turkey sandwich. He goes back in, comes back out. He goes, we don't have any.
No.
We don't have any bread for the sandwich. It's now 15 minutes. And I go, you know what? I'll come in. Guy's like, I'm really sorry. I go, dude, it's not your fault. The people that own these places are just assholes. And he goes, no kidding, huh? So I said to them, what do you have? They go, we can make you a turkey BLT wrap. And I go, great. She goes, we're going to throw in an apple fritter. I said, no problem. So they give me a bag with an apple fritter in it. Turns out there didn't have any apple fritters, so I got a chocolate chip muffin.
What is this?
No, I'm not done.
Be making this up.
Dude, not only am I not done, she goes, I'm going to make you a great big turkey wrap. Really sorry about the waste and the mess, and I'm really sorry. I'm just, don't worry about it. It's all good. Just, it's been 20 minutes. You don't have chicken, grilled, crispy.
Sounds like
you don't have
movie.
You don't have bacon. You don't have any of those things. So just fill a nice big wrap with turkey, make it a nice, she goes, on it. Hands me the bag. It's a little light. I get to the car. I take it out. This is what I get. It's basically a fucking glorified turkey wrap taquito. Tim Hortons. You know what that cost me? $13.99.
But now I know miser.
Yeah. No, it wasn't an apple fritter. Remember, I asked for an apple fritter. They said, you want a free pastry? I said, sure, apple fritter.
Can I?
Like, okay. And they go, we don't have any of those either. You get a chocolate chip muffin. It's Tim Hortons is either a surprise bag of goodies or, and let me introduce this little wrinkle because thousands and thousands,
I want to
in a
weigh
second,
in as soon as you're done.
in a minute, thousands and thousands of people replying to that tweet with the exact same experience. They never have the things on the menu they say they have. Now, I was also contacted this morning by a lawyer. And that lawyer said, do you know that it is illegal to advertise things for sale and to not have them and to sell people other things that you do?
Tell me you're not suing Tim Horton. You got enough law stuff going on right now.
Well, hold it.
Do you need to sue Timmy's?
So I replied to this person. I'm like, hey, dude, it was just a bad sandwich experience. I've had 5 of those in a row and I'm just not going back. And this person was like, did you see the replies to your tweet? And I said, no. And I went through them and there are thousands of people going, this is bullshit. This happens to me every time I go. They never have the stuff they say they have. I think they're doing misleading advertising on purpose to get people in there to just kind of eat whatever shit they have left. Because this is apparently, according to several people I spoke with, apparently, this is systemic with this brand, with Tim Hortons, where you go there to order something.
That's
pay,
what I want to.
You get to the window, and it's like, we don't have any of those things, but we can give you this stuff. And they never have those things that they say they're supposed to sell. It's happened to me fucking the last 5 times I've been. And here's the thing. I'm not even angry. I'm not one of those people. It's like, I'm into commerce and the customers. I don't care. Yeah. I'm not going to sue anybody. I just laughed at the guy. I'm like, don't worry, but you want to fucking do a class action lawsuit, use my tweet, go ahead. I don't have the time for that. I'll just go to Subway instead, who apparently ran out of bread the other day, which I thought was interesting.
So here's my take on.
Anyway, that was my last Tim Hortons experience ever. I will never go back again. Thank you for the memories. Really appreciate it. You were cool from like 15 till I was 35.
I was always
not cool
a Tim's
anymore.
Fan.
Done. Thank you. The last time I go to Tim Hortons.
We used to hit Tim's every day on the way into work when my wife and I drove into work together. And
such a great memory.
Back in Winnipeg. Here's my thing with Tim's. I know where the bad Tim's are. Like there's, and I hate to say it, but there are, and maybe it's different in Alberta. I think it's store to store because each store is owned quite often individually. So you pay for the franchise. And you're right. There has been more issues, I think, in the past couple of years since the ownership changed. So I don't know what that is, but what I did was I used to, fool me once, whatever that saying is. If I had a bad experience a couple of times, I wouldn't go back. So there's one in St. Albert I will never go to, because it was like they were always out of stuff and the staff was like rude. Like I got told off. See, this is the thing that amazes me, and this is interesting about Dean, is that there's no way in hell I would have left that place without making a scene.
But here's the thing.
That's where you and I are wired very differently.
But I am really empathetic to the people behind the counter. I'm actually like, because
I run out of empathy. I run out of empathy when there's 4 things in a row that are like, there's no way I wouldn't have blown up. No way.
And here's the thing. This Tim Hortons I went to is their grand reopening. Come on in, grand reopening. Check it out. I'm like, I'll just go through the drive-through, grand reopening. It's just food. Doesn't matter.
I think maybe in Alberta we've got some better Tims.
You might.
Yeah, there's one that I go to and I never have an issue. They've always got stuff and the staff is friendly as hell.
Here
and
it's
they're
garbage.
Fast.
Garbage.
It's fast.
Garbage.
You know what? When we were doing the locker room and we would talk about drive-through stuff, Ontario, like, because we had a lot of listeners in Ontario, Dean.
Yep.
I don't know what it is with what's going on in Ontario, but we would get a lot of people weighing in from Ontario about drive-through experiences in particular being horrific. So I find it interesting that that maybe this is an Ontario thing. Maybe.
No, dude, and it's specific. It's not the drive-through experience in Ontario. And listen, there's a lot of people here. I get it. Fast food's a big deal. But I went and grabbed a McMuffin this morning. So I'm heading back from a meeting. It's early. I had to go drop something off, get something printed up. I'm like, I need a sandwich. Grabbed a quick McChicken McMuffin. And the woman at the counter took my money, opened the thing, handed the money, and didn't say a word to me. It was like, boom, boom, go ahead, next window. Didn't even say go to the next window. I just knew instinctively you go to the next window. Anyway, at least they had the stuff.
Yeah.
Right, that I ordered.
There's good and bad McDonald's too.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
Like there's a McDonald's where I went once and it looked like, I don't know, it looked like a gang of kids might have been running it, and that there was a good chance that I could also buy a little meth. So I was like, I don't need to go back there.
Sad though, isn't it? Because Tim Hortons wasn't just a coffee place, wasn't just a fast food restaurant growing up. It was like my introduction to coffee as a 15-year-old was a Tim Hortons.
Yes.
Coffee. It was delicious. You're like, oh my God, this is coffee with double. Ooh. And then remember that, like the polyester skirts the girls that used to work there wore? I used to love those. I thought they were the hottest thing in the world, the polyester skirts. I was totally sucked into that whole thing when I was like late
this
teenager.
Is getting a little
20s.
weird.
No, I just loved it. It was bizarre. It's like this weird kink. Ooh, the Tim Hortons polyester skirt. I just like that.
You do have
That's
a
how
kink.
much I had a Tim Hortons hat. I was a Tim Hortons guy. I really was. And it was like, every morning I'd get up to go to my radio gig at like 3:00 in the morning. I'd stop at a Tim Hortons. I'd meet a couple York Region police officers there. We'd have a coffee together.
Yeah.
Tim's. It was a Tim's thing. And then
the cops would escort you to work.
Yeah, the cops sometimes would escort me to work doing 180.
It
was the best. Yeah. You need to get to work fast? I go, I do. Let's go, fella. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they've lost some shine. They have.
It's over. It's over. Tim Hortons is over. Done. I don't know one person who's like, I love it. They all say the same thing. I used to love it.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame.
Yeah.
That they took a big dump on it and turned it into this massive loss leader restaurant that sells things they don't have. That seems to be the narrative now.
It's too bad.
It's a sad story.
Yeah. All right. Retro replay of the day. The Locker Room brought to you by Ardent Roof Systems.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up for the golf tournament. If you need the link, you can send me a note. I'll fire it at you. But it's pretty easy. It's ardentroofsystems.com. Check out the webpage. There's a clickable thing there, and you can go to the webpage and sign up. That's July 5th at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. It's going to be a great day. We're actually going to be broadcasting, Dean. I'm going to be broadcasting live from the ranch that morning, which is kind of fun. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be one of our live shows. Anyway, this is a break. I got to be honest with you. I was kind of fascinated by Viagra because I never really. I'm a bit naive.
Have you tried it?
And yes, we did. I'll tell you the story after we run this. But I didn't know that people took it recreationally.
Apparently. I didn't know that either until about a year ago. And I'm like, wait a second, you don't need it? And I'm like, no. I'm like, and you still use it? It's like, yeah. I'm
okay,
like, oh.
Anyway, this was a special kind of Viagra.
All right.
The Lock Retro Replay.
Everybody has that friend that it's always like a one wingnut, right? If something needs to get done, he's the guy that'll sign up for it. Right?
Yeah, he's going to try it out.
So you need me to jump from the roof to the tree. Okay. All right. Roll tape.
Yeah, make sure that tape's rolling.
The hold my beer guy, right?
Yeah.
This is that guy. I know his friends probably got him to take this.
It's in Mexico because Mexico's the best. He purchased a sexual stimulant that they use for bulls when they're breeding them, and he took it himself. And after 3 days, he had to go to the hospital because he was standing at attention for 3 entire days.
Now, I don't see the problem with that.
Yeah, no, I think it actually says, wasn't Viagra, like if this lasts more than 3 hours, see a doctor or something like that?
4.
4 hours.
Let's not get too excited.
This went on for 3 days where he was finally like, okay, I'm going to the hospital.
Viagra for bulls.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
It's got to be good.
What could go wrong? I bet you it'll work for sure.
Well, it did work.
What do they do? I think it involves a needle. Is there anybody
I have
listening
never looked into that
works in the medical community that has had to deal with this before? Like, I want to hear from a nurse. I want to know. I want graphic details from you.
Yes.
Doctor or a nurse on what happens to a guy that comes into the hospital. Hi, I've had a dinger 3 days. I took Viagra for bulls, and I need some help.
I bet you it's blood pressure medication that they lower your blood pressure because that's a huge amount of blood.
Don't disappoint me. I want it to be a
that's too
needle.
boring.
I want it to be a needle.
You're in the locker room.
Is that guy a doctor?
No,
he's an intern.
Steph was security at a hospital and had to sit in on a surgery where they milk blood out of the dinger.
Why is the security guard sitting in on a surgery?
That's what I want to know.
Probably because
Where was this
like
hospital?
think about it. If someone was doing surgery on your dinger, wouldn't they have to hold you down?
Don't we have things like
They have
medication
done-
to put you under?
They have done surgery on his junk. He had a vasectomy twice.
I didn't have it twice,
It grew back.
and there was freezing.
Yeah.
I didn't need a security guard in there to sit on my chest. Thank you for that. We did get a couple of texts about that from people in the medical community. So they milk blood out of your penis.
Stop saying milk.
And they milk it.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's true. That's a true story. They do that when you take more than 250 milligrams of Viagra. Apparently, I've done a little research into this. I don't use it recreationally, nor do I need it. However, I'm not opposed to the idea. I just wonder if you might end up hurting somebody if you take too much of it. If you don't need it.
What's a pill? I don't know what.
What's a pill? What do you mean? Well,
How much is in a pill?
I don't know. I'm going to say. Let me just look. Like an average boner pill. What is it?
Yeah, is it 250 milligrams? Is one pill?
A
friend of ours
Viagra
ordered some Mexican boner pills, and he was selling them for a while.
No more than 100. No more than 100 milligrams. Apparently, they come in 50s and 100s. 50s for guys that don't get dingers. 100s for guys who really don't get dingers. And the 50s are apparently used more for recreational use. Recommended dose for adults 18 to 64 years is 50 milligrams. Anything over 65. Lower dose, because you might have a heart attack. The dose can be increased to 100 milligrams depending on how effective it could be and how well it's tolerated. Never take more than 200 milligrams of any boner medication ever.
So the Cialis and the Viagra mix, they're called Superman pills because apparently they do something different so you're really covered. You got your bases covered if you take these, but they're illegal, and you can get them from Mexico. And a friend of mine ordered a bunch of them, and he was selling them at his house in Sherwood Park.
What's he really?
Superman
Just on Facebook Marketplace. Super boner pill.
No, we were doing all his advertising for him. We literally had guys texting the show going, "Hey, who's that buddy of yours?" And then we give him his phone number.
Yeah,
we must have given out his phone number to about 50 people.
Fucking guys. The whole stigma with Viagra is actually gone.
Yeah.
You talk to guys about it, and I'm 51. Thankfully, I don't know the difference between having it or not having because I've never had to use it.
I still wake up with a boner about 2 or 3 days a week.
Lucky guy. I'm a lucky dude. But there are people out there who aren't lucky. So for those guys, right, who are impotent or have a hard time with boners when they get older, maybe their total T is down, their testosterone is down. There's this huge gray area now because people are they're not ashamed to take it recreationally. They're like, no, this is good. We get a bag of these things and we go for it for the weekend, right? So now the people who need it can hide under the wake of that recreational aspect of boner medication.
I didn't even think of it from that perspective.
Yeah. There are a lot of people out there that are like, I just need it recreationally. I just really enjoy it. And they're lying their dicks off. They're lying their limp wieners off.
Well, dude,
oh yeah, I totally need
there's
it.
20-year-olds that are pounding this stuff.
Oh yeah.
They're getting a box of White Claws and a bag of Viagra, and they're off to the lake. Come on, Sarah.
It's true. Do you know the number 3 black market pill is boner medication?
Here's my question.
Oxy, I think Xanax, like painkiller Xanax, and then it's boner medication. Those are the 3 most black marketed pills in the world.
I was surprised that it was such a black market thing because it just seems like it seems readily available. right? Like it seems
Well, it
like it's
just seems
something
like
you can
something
talk
you
your
don't-
doctor
yeah.
into.
Well, plus they've got like, if you go to Shoppers Drug Mart, you can get testosterone boosting pills. You can get all kinds of stuff like herbal shit that actually helps with that. Apparently,
You know a lot about this.
No, my
Sounds
son
surreal.
he works at Healthy Planet. He was telling me the other day, he's like, we got this stuff called horny goat weed. And I'm like, "What's
That
horny
apparently
goat weed?"
works.
He's like, it's this all natural supplement that gives you this crazy rager. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, it's like $80 for like 20 of these pills though. And I'm like, it's all natural. He goes, yeah. I said, I had no idea. Like, I just thought when you were done, you were done. Like whatever you came to the party with at any point in time in your life, that's what you got. Right. And once it's gone, you retire to the country and you get a couple of fucking dogs or something like that.
So,
or your wife just feels sorry for you and then she goes out and gets hers. No. That doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. There is no embarrassment needed for any gentleman.
I don't
who
think
wants
you
to
should
take
be.
that Viagra. What's that?
Well, I don't think there should be any embarrassment.
Oh,
The horny goat weed, you know how they figured out that worked?
No.
Because it was a weed that was around a goat farm and the goats were eating it and they're wandering around with huge dingers. So someone's like, well, same thing happened. The same thing happened in Ireland at the Pfizer plant that makes Viagra. They were doing experiments on this blood pressure medication, which
it's for heart medication.
Yeah, it was a heart medication. And the fumes from the plant and the wastewater, all the dogs in this Irish community that next to the Pfizer plant were wandering around the community with boners. So they were like,
that's not true, dude.
Stop the heart medication research. We got a winner here. That's a true story. That's how
No, I'll tell you
that's how Viagra was discovered.
No, it had nothing to do with
the
dogs that
local
were drinking the
dogs had
Viagra water.
boners.
No, it didn't.
Look it up.
I did.
on
You know what
Wiki.
it's from? I'll tell you. They started
Pfizer
to
plant
develop
wastewater
heart medication, and it came with this kind of weird licorice root, like Tunget Alley or something like that. And they're like, "Oh my god, all these people that we put on heart medication, they're banging, they're getting boners in the morning." And they're like, "Wait a second, this is Pfizer." Like, wait a second, did we just make an anti-impotence pill? And they're like, "Yeah," and that is legitimately how Viagra was born.
Dogs
And
with
everybody else tried
boners
to
is
get
a
into
way better origin story. I think they should stick with that.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. I'm out of here.
Lochlin Cross at Lochlin Cross on Twitter. Good hour and a half rip on a Monday. That was fun. A little bit of everything in there. Enjoy the eclipse today, everybody. I'm gonna head downtown and watch it myself. You know what I love about this eclipse? It comes with about 40 different conspiracy theories. It's just the eclipse. It's just the Earth and the sun and the moon coming into perfect alignment. Okay. No, NASA is not launching 3 rockets to the moon as part of this is one of them, part of a sex magic ritual. The National Guard, FEMA, hazmat teams are not prepared to take over the United States. Not only that, they're not causing 3 to 5 days of darkness. CERN is not going to start up on April 8th to open a portal to another black hole on Earth. That's not happening. And no, the rapture is not happening, and people will not be ascending into the sky. And no, there also is not going to be some kind of massive disruption in our lives. It's just an eclipse, seen thousands of times. Just don't look right at it. That's all you got to worry about today. Side eye, maybe get some glasses. The world's not ending. It's just going to fuck with your vision if you stare at it. You're welcome. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget, as always, this was brought to you by our friends at Rome Auto. Go to Rome.auto for more details on how you can get yourself a car. And not just any car either. This is any car that you want. Could be an EV, could be a Hyundai, it could be a BMW, it could be a Ford. Doesn't matter what it is. They've got a car for you. Drive your car on your own terms with a car subscription. You don't have to be out of pocket for an upfront payment. Insurance, routine maintenance, roadside assistance is included. Everything except for fuel. And no lease payments. Not one. No. You just pay as you go, and then you turn it in when you're done. Flexible monthly plans starting at 1 month. You can also get home delivery or valet. I'm a customer. You can be a customer too. Hey, listen, these guys are changing the economy of car buying in Canada. They're in the GTA now. Go to Rome.auto and use promo code Rome with Dean. You'll get $150 off your first month. Rome.auto, Rome with Dean, your promo code, $150 off your first month. And there you go. We're also brought to you by our friends at Cantork. They make rugged, hardworking torque wrenches. Canada's leading industrial tool experts, offering you the very best in sales, service, rentals, calibration, maintenance, and custom fabrication of industrial torque tools. No matter what it is, every solution is under one roof, and they make it, they calibrate it, they repair it, they clean it, they service it, and their torque wrench is made for some of the hardest work in the world, tension tools, flange management systems, and they're Canada's leading industrial tool experts. Over 20 years of experience and knowledge at the table, providing you with comprehensive solutions tailored to your specific requirements. Cantork offers a complete range of services products, making them your one-stop destination for all your bolting needs, saving you time, effort, and hassle. Colin's the man. His website's incredible. You can check out all of their industrial torque tools and industrial tools at cantork.com. Brand new products available, services available. Their new podcast is there as well. Colin and his group are proudly Canadian. You get a maple leaf on every single one of the torque tools that they put out, and they do this for heavy industry around the world. Machinery, heavy machinery, forestry, railroad, doesn't matter. These guys are it. Tunnel boring machines, cantork.com for more details. Also brought to you by Muse Massage Spa, educational podcast from two women who know exactly what they're doing when it comes to sexology. They own Muse Massage Spa, musemassagespa.com, Toronto's #1 body house. It's also at 1290 Finch Avenue West, and they got a podcast you can download, Patreon and YouTube, called Muse on the Mic. Patreon is totally uncensored. Their last one, shared it with Lochlin. You probably watched it 4 times. Highly encourage you to subscribe to their Patreon, Muse on the Mic, and as well their podcast, anywhere you get your fine podcasts, is they educate you about what it's like to advocate for women in the sex industry, what it's like to learn about sexology, the therapeutic nature of massage. This is it. If you're interested in this industry and you love to be educated by two very, very smart women in the body industry, this is it. Go to musemassagespa.com for more details, and download their podcast, Muse on the Mic, anywhere you get your fine podcasts, including YouTube, Patreon, and all the audio hosts as well. We're also brought to you by factcheck.io. If you believe in what you read, then you don't need this. If you're like basically 100% of the people on this planet, and every time you read something, you question where it came from because of whatever culture you're involved in, or because someone told you that this has to be true, don't believe them. Go to factcheck.io and check them out today and join their beta test team. This is some of the world's most robust software, AI, and machine learning that gives you pure agency over what you read. Doesn't matter where it is. It's a little buddy that'll source information for you, give you a score as to whether or not you can believe it, and then send you in the direction for you to actually educate yourself as to what you read. Works with pictures, videos, works with live speech, works with texts, any URL. It doesn't matter what it is. And right now they're testing their beta program. Go to factcheck.io for more details today. FAKTCHEK.io. Again, FAKTCHEK.io. And you'll find yourself part of their beta test team. Applicants, successful applicants, may become verified fact checkers as well. Isn't that nice? I'm telling you, they're going to take over the world, so you might want to get in on the beta test, specifically if you're angry about people lying to you with information, which doesn't seem to be a problem today. Just kidding. It's our biggest. Factcheck.io. Join their beta test team today. Check them out. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Thanks to Zoey for joining us, Lochlin for joining us. We're back tomorrow. We've actually got a really big week. David Moskrop this week. Frankie Graves from Ecos Research is going to join us. What else we got? I can't remember. Big week. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, YouTube, Crier Media, YouTube, Dean Blundell Show as well. Also, make sure that you give us a follow anywhere you find us on social, Crier Media, or at It's Dean Blundell. And everything we do is at YouTube as well, Crier Media, YouTube, Google, Apple, Spotify. Find us there. Subscribe, rate, review. We'd really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.